Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back to talk about warm weather rose fragrances. So I have got a bunch here. I'm gonna jump right in. I'm gonna start with one of my absolute favorite warm weather rose fragrances, and that is this one here from Salvatore Ferragamo. This is called Signorina. This is the EDT formulation. This is the only fragrance that I've got in my collection that has actually had somebody like chase me down in a store to ask me what I was wearing. I was in the produce section at the store. This has been years ago, but I passed this lady and I think she thought about it for a second, and then a couple minutes she came back around and she like chased me down and said, "Oh my gosh, you smell so good. What is that perfume that you're wearing?" And I told her, of course, and she wrote it down, and hopefully she got herself a bottle because it's stunning. This is like a really beautiful, bright, crisp, modern smelling rose, but it's got like I think it's like a milk mousse note in it, and also like a rice steam note in it. So it's got this really gorgeous kind of sweet creaminess to it, but it doesn't take away from how fresh and like effervescent smelling the rose is. And the rose almost has a tiny bit of a green aspect to it as well. I mean, this is beautiful. It's really, really unique smelling. I've never smelled anything else quite like it. It's stunning. I picked this up from TJ Maxx too, like on a whim. I just blind bought it. It was really cheap. It was like on super clearance for I think like $8 or $10 or something. And it is one of the best blind buys I've ever made because it is beautiful. And I love the grosgrain ribbon on these bottles. It's just such a beautiful feminine bottle too. And I love that the liquid inside is like a really beautiful, delicate pink. It's just such an amazing perfume, and I think it's super underrated, and I don't think that people talk about this very often. But anyways, that's a beautiful hot weather rose, and that is Salvatore Ferragamo Signorina, the EDT formulation. Another beautiful watery hot weather rose is this one here from Stella McCartney. This is Stella, the EDT formulation, and this is really beautiful because this has a really bright, crisp lemon sorbet note in it. And then you still get that really fresh, crisp, modern rose. It's a little bit different than the rose that you get in the original Stella. This one's a little bit brighter. It's got a little bit more of like a green quality to it. I think you still get a little bit of the amber in this, but it's a much less like concentration of it. It's just really beautiful. It's got this kind of icy blast when you very first spray this one on because you get this really beautiful, crisp, almost green leaning rose, but then you get this really kind of like icy, cold lemon sorbet note in it, and it's beautiful. Sadly, this entire line of perfumes has been discontinued. I'm like holding out hope that Stella McCartney will bring back their perfume line because they're some of my most favorite designer perfumes ever. Sadly, they're difficult to find, but if you do come across a bottle for a good price, I definitely think it's worth picking up. So anyways, that is Stella McCartney, Stella EDT. Okay, this next one, I'm not gonna spend a ton of time on this because I just had this in a wedding video recently, but I would not feel good making a warm weather rose perfume video without talking about this fragrance. This is Montal Rose Elixir, or Rose's Elixir. They changed the name of it. I think actually mine is the original one that was called Rose's Elixir, and I think now it's just called Rose Elixir. But it's the same scent either way. This is a really beautiful combination of like rose, like a sweet, almost like a sweet Turkish rose and musk. It's gorgeous. It's kind of gives me the same kind of vibe that some of the newer Miss Dior perfumes give, except the new Miss Dior perfumes aren't fantastic. They're kind of watery and like they just don't last long, whereas with this, it definitely lasts a super long time. It performs super, super well. But it's that same kind of like, almost, I think this has got a little bit of strawberry in it, but almost when rose is mixed with peony and you get that really kind of modern, sweet smelling rose. That's what this is. This might even have peony in it. I know it's got strawberry. It may have peony and rose. But that combination is so beautiful. You just get the most beautiful, sweet, modern, fresh rose. And it lasts forever. This is such a good one. I don't get along with all Montal or Mancera fragrances, but this is one that I absolutely get along with. So anyways, that is Montal Rose Elixir. This next one, oh my gosh, I forget that I have this in my collection, and every time I see it, I am so grateful that I have it. I bought this years and years ago from FragranceNet, and I think you can still find this on Joma Shop, actually. This is a fragrance from Guerlain, and this is called Rosa Pop. If I can find this, I'll link it for you. This is beautiful because this is a rose that kind of smells like the Meteorites perfume, or even the Meteorites powder. If you've got a tin of Meteorites, which I do, this smells like Meteorites. So this is almost like a rose and candied violet combination. I don't think this has violet in it though, so I'm not totally sure where that comes from, but it definitely smells like a rosy Meteorites kind of fragrance. It's beautiful. I love it. It's very youthful smelling. It's very, it's sweet and light, but kind of syrupy at the same time. It's gorgeous. I love this one. I'm so glad I have it in my collection. I forget that I have it, and I very rarely wear it because I forget that I have it, but I'm gonna give this one some love this year for sure because it's gorgeous. So anyways, that is Aqua Allegoria Rosa Pop. I used to have Rosa Rosa too, but I ended up decluttering that one because it smelled similar to stuff like my Stella EDT and some of my other like light airy rose fragrances. It was very similar, so I ended up just decluttering it. But Rosa Pop, that's a lifer. I will keep it forever. Okay, this next one, this is a Kim Kardashian fragrance, and this is Kim Kardashian Fleur Fatale. I am obsessed with this bottle. I think if you look on the side that doesn't have her name anywhere on it, it's so pretty. It's such a pretty bottle though. This is really beautiful. In fact, this is really gorgeous. This is a very light, fresh, airy, kind of green leaning, watery rose. It's not sweet. Yeah, it's not sweet or creamy. It's almost a little bit like the Signorina EDT if you took out, all the creaminess and we're just left with the like really fresh, watery rose. It's gorgeous. This is like walking through a rose garden, but without smelling like mature roses, if that makes sense. It's really, really beautiful. It's worth picking up. You can find this. I think I found this perfume on Bulk Apothecary for about $5. So it's definitely worth picking up if you can find it for a really, really good price. And if you like rose, it's gorgeous. Doesn't perform super well, but it's okay. For the price, I don't mind reapplying it, 5 times on the day I wear it. It's really, really beautiful. This gets compared to Stella McCartney. I've seen people compare this to Stella. Don't listen to that. It doesn't. The only thing it has in common with Stella is that they're both rose fragrances. But this does not smell like Stella. It's beautiful in its own right though. So anyways, that is Fleur Fatale from Kim Kardashian. This next one, I love this little scent. This is another one that I forget that I have. Somebody sent this over to me. It's been quite a while ago. This is a Paris Hilton perfume. This is a little mini that's missing its little top, but this is Paris Hilton Rose Rush. And this is a really youthful, this is a really sweet, youthful smelling rose. This smells like a rose and lychee combination. Like a really beautiful, sweet, very youthful, kind of slightly fruity rose. This is a super easy perfume to wear. A very easy rose fragrance. Easy to reach for. I'm pretty sure it's like rose and lychee. It's gorgeous. I love this one. This is another one that I forget that I have. And I try to keep it near all my, well, I do. I keep it near all my other Paris Hilton fragrances so that anytime I go to look for a Paris Hilton fragrance, I see this and I'll actually wear it. But it's really, really beautiful. It's another very underrated one. In fact, this one might be the best out of this Rush line that I've smelled. Don't get me wrong, I love them all. But this one is really, really fresh and just really gorgeous smelling. So anyways, that is Paris Hilton Rosé Rush. Okay, next, I just talked about this one in a wedding fragrance video as well, so I'm not gonna spend a ton of time. I've got a silver polishing cloth and I keep forgetting to pull this out and polish it. I'm gonna leave it out so that I will remember to polish it. But this is Chloe, just Chloe EDP. I love every single version of this fragrance. I love the Naturel version. I love the EDT formulation. I love every version of Chloe. It is the most beautiful. I think this has also got peony in it. I think this is like rose and peony. I think it's got a little bit of freesia in it. It's very fresh. This one is grown woman smelling, but without smelling mature. It's got a muskiness in the base as well. And it's the same kind of muskiness that you get with some of the Narciso Rodriguez fragrances. It's like a kind of like a heavier skin musk, but it doesn't overpower the fragrance. It just adds this really beautiful kind of muskiness in the base, which I think if you had the wrong skin chemistry, that maybe would end up smelling mature on you. But it doesn't on me. How I love this one. It's really, really beautiful. I couldn't do a hot weather rose fragrance without including this because this is just a perfect rose fragrance in my opinion. I love it. So anyways, that is Chloe, just Chloe EDP formulation. Next, I have a Tocca fragrance, and I think this is the only full bottle of Tocca that I've got in my collection. I do have a hair perfume that my beautiful fragrance friend Christine sent over, but this is the only bottle of actual perfume that I have from Tocca, and this is Tocca Isabel. And this is a gorgeous, fresh, this is like a fresh traditional smelling rose. It's like a fresh red rose. But again, without smelling mature, without smelling dated. It's got a sangria note in it, so it's a little bit boozy. It's gorgeous. It's got a little bit of a green aspect to it. It's very light. It's very airy. It performs super well. This is one of the heaviest bottles in my collection. These Tocca bottles are they're such good quality. And this is the most beautiful. It's almost a tiny bit of a soapy rose. Kind of a little bit soapy, a little bit boozy. Very light. A little bit traditional smelling, but again, without smelling mature. It's stunning, beautiful. This can work in the highest of heat too. I've worn this on like, when it's like close to 100 degrees out and the humidity is like at 100% and you're dripping sweat as soon as you walk outside. Like I've worn this on days like that and it's perfect. In fact, this is the perfect kind of fragrance to wear on a day like that because it's so fresh, but smells so good, and it doesn't and it's really light, but it's very present. It lasts forever. This fragrance performs super, super well. I'm a big fan of Tocca. I think that a lot of their perfumes are just stunning. I need to get a bottle of Juliet. Is it Juliet or Julietta? I think it's either it's a gardenia or a jasmine fragrance. I want a bottle of it really badly. It's gorgeous. But anyways, that is Tocca Isabel. And then last but not least, I have a Guerlain fragrance. I think I had this in my spring video as well, but this is just an overall amazing hot weather rose fragrance. This is Guerlain, Mon Guerlain Touch of Rose, or Bloom of Rose. Bloom of Rose. Guerlain, Mon Guerlain, Bloom of Rose. This one is so stunning because this has got such a beautiful kind of perfumey skin-like quality to it. And you don't get a lot of rose with this, which is why I think it's kind of odd that it's called Bloom of Rose, because it is a rose fragrance, don't get me wrong, and it does have rose in it. But something about how the notes are blended, it ends up smelling like this really beautiful, warm, kind of skin-like like perfumey skin-like floral. I've never smelled anything quite like this. I don't have anything else like this in my collection, but I can tell you it's amazing in the hot weather. It's really beautiful. And here's that Guerlain liquid that's kind of turning like a bright, this one's turning like a bright green. My Parfum Initial is turning bright yellow. I don't know what Guerlain puts in their actual liquid that they turn these like bright colors. I don't know if you can see it on camera either. It's such a light tint right now, but I just have a feeling that this one's gonna turn bright green. I usually store this in the dark though, so it's taking quite a while for it to get there, but anyways, this is a beautiful scent. I love this. This one's hard to describe because I've never really smelled anything quite like it, and it doesn't smell like anything else that I know to compare it to. It reminds me a little bit of like Cacharel Noah. It's got that same kind of a strange note breakdown, and then as well as this really beautiful kind of warm, perfumey, kind of skin-like quality about it. It's really beautiful. I love it. I definitely think it's worth checking out if you haven't smelled this one before. Plus, I just love Mon Guerlain. Mon Guerlain Floral is my favorite one, but I love all Mon Guerlains. I just think that it's such an amazing fragrance. One of the best designer fragrances that's come out in the last like 10 years, and I just love them. But anyways, that is Guerlain Mon Guerlain Bloom of Rose. And that is gonna be it, guys. Those are most of the hot weather roses that I have in my collection. I'm sure that I'm forgetting some, but yeah, that's the majority of them. I have curated my rose collection quite a lot as well. At one point I owned like 35 rose perfumes, and I still have quite a few, but I have really like curated my rose collection. But anyways, you guys, I do hope that you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.